Hello, and welcome to Basement Movie Room. We watched Prisoners of Ghostland, and that's how excited I was about watching it the whole time.
I can't wait to hear how you explain it.
There's no way to explain this movie. I usually give you a plot recap. That would be impossible because the movie has no plot. Literally no. Okay, so it has a paper-thin plot that is just a reason for Nic Cage to act crazy the whole time.
Yeah. Cocaine Cage.
Cocaine Cage, man. Okay, so the movie starts out with a bank robbery with Nicolas Cage and Nick Cassavetes, which I didn't even recognize him because he looks completely different in this movie. Robbing a bank, the colors very bright and vivid. All the people are dressed in very bright colors or white. And then Cage and Nick Cassavetes are dressed in black mainly. There's a kid in there that has these gumballs, and there's a big gumball machine, and Cage is grabbing the money, and Cassavetes loses his mind, and you don't see it, but you get a significant feeling that he kills this kid. So then it flashes forward to Cage in prison and in Samurai Town, which I guess you don't really get that until the very end, that's Samurai Town, because you don't see the name of it, and Cage says it at the end. But the town is a mixture of Western, American Western, and samurai. And it's in present day-ish because there's cell phones and things like that. So it's very weird. There's modern guns, there's modern cell phones, but there's also traditional samurais and traditional Western dressed people. Cage is in prison, assumingly for this. You don't get that there's some passage of time, but there is passage of time there. He's been in prison for, I don't know, 10 years probably?
Yeah, for a while.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
So the governor comes into town, played by Bill Moseley, who I recognize, but I can't place what else he's in. And he comes into town and pulls Cage out of prison, puts Cage in this suit, and says, "You're going to find his granddaughter, Bernice?"
Yeah.
His granddaughter, Bernice, who looks nothing like him and is definitely not white like him, because it's, what's her name, from the Mummy movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we saw her name at the end of it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's her name. And Kingsman, she was the one with the heels, the feet that cut people. So she plays Bernice, she ran off, I guess, away from the governor, and he wants to get her back, so he gets Cage to do this, puts him in this weird suit. The suit has these little lights on the neck, on both arms, and on the crotch. So the governor explains to Cage that if he has 3 days to find her, and if he tries to hit a woman, the ones on his arms will explode. If he gets sexual urges towards a woman, the one on his crotch will explode. And if he doesn't do it in 3 days, his neck will explode. Unless he finds Bernice, then she has to say her name into the recorder on his arm, and he gets 2 extra days. So that's it. That's all the information we really get. And you're also dealing with some really crazy stuff, really crazy visuals, and not in a good way crazy visuals, just ridiculously crazy visuals. And then they pull up like a 1998 Toyota Celica for Cage to drive. And then one of the craziest parts of the movie, and really funny actually, Cage drives the Celica like 100 feet, jumps out and steals a bicycle and rides off on the bicycle. For no reason whatsoever, because then one of the main samurai, Yujihiro, I think his name was, drives the Celica out and makes Cage take the Celica. So he takes it.
That just set the tone for you.
Yeah,
right
it did. Cage goes out into the wastelands. You get that there's been some nuclear incident or something out here. Goes out in the wastelands and encounters something that we saw earlier in the movie when Bernice was getting away, like these people that are burned and these samurai warriors. Mm-hmm. He crashes the car. He ends up in a place where there's this big clock and finds Bernice. Doesn't take him long to find Bernice, to be honest. He finds her like immediately, pretty much. But all this, it's just like a post-apocalyptic wasteland where he finds Bernice and he has to get her back, but she's been possessed by the ghost or something. It's very weird. Like, there's no explanation
They
here.
have her inside of a mannequin.
Yeah, there's these mannequin-covered people. She's one of them. It's very odd. There's no explanation about anything. You get some backstory that doesn't really happen because Cage is passed out and is dreaming this backstory as far as I could tell. And it's all exposition dump saying that there was a busload of prisoners and nuclear waste got spilled on them, and that's who these people he encountered earlier were. So he gets Bernice to leave. He's, it's it's no point. There's no point in keeping going.
Yeah.
He has to get Bernice back to the governor. Bernice doesn't like the governor. They're probably going to kill the governor. You'll see that. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
So that's the story of the movie. The visuals are crazy. There's nothing normal about this movie. Its visuals go from Mad Max to a candy store in between shots. The governor wears an all-white suit.
They tried, Mad Max is a good example.
Yeah.
And then they even tried to be Tarantino-esque.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
the craziness of
it. And like there's a movie called Suriaki Western Django that was made in Japan, and the cover of it reminds me of this movie. I can't remember. I may have seen it. I can't remember, but it's just one of those batshit insane crazy movies just for the sake of being batshit insane. It's not good. It is not good. It's just. It doesn't make sense 90% of the time. Cage is just hamming it up most of the time, making crazy faces, which is great. That's fun.
Yeah.
But there's random lines that come out of nowhere, where that one guy calls him like a fucking cocksucker or something, just out of nowhere. And
love it when Cage jumps up out of that. That wagon. He's karate chop, dude. Just weird dialogue just like that.
So
coming
stupid.
from Cage, it's great, but
it's so stupid.
It's throughout the movie.
But you're introduced to all these random characters that seem like they should be important, but they don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
The only people that do anything really are Cage, Bernice, the governor, and Yujahira, or whatever his name was, the samurai. And even then, his motivations are not clear other than the governor has a sister, but then he's trying to kill Cage at the end for no apparent reason when he could just help Cage.
Killing his own guys.
Yeah.
It makes Cage. I kind of thought that maybe the lady and the child at the beginning of the movie that got killed, maybe that was his.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that.
No,
it doesn't say that.
I shouldn't have been thinking that much.
No, you put too much thought into this movie for sure.
Yeah,
it's certainly it just. Oh, Jesus, it's so terrible. Yeah. So
they threw ideas against the wall and they went with everything.
There was 12 producers of this movie. The opening of the movie showing all the production companies lasts literally 5 minutes. It's that many production companies. And it's I think they wrote this by getting together, and some of them wrote 20 pages, and the next one just looked at the last line, wrote the next 20 pages, and the next one wrote 20 more pages. And then, hey, let's just film it. Get Nic Cage to do it. He'll do anything.
Yeah, you know who this will work for? Nick Cage. It'll bring people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked, because I paid $7 for this shit.
I want to know what Nic Cage's debt is at.
He's got to be in the millions.
He's got to stop making these movies.
He said the other day he's never going to stop making movies, and he's going to keep making movies like this for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're entertaining.
So it has its moments, but overall, it's just a mess.
There's a couple of good shots in there, like the one scene where the samurai stabs the guy inside of that. That's a great shot. That was pretty cool. There was a couple of good shots in it. It wasn't complete trash.
Oh, then there was the part where Bernice kills the samurai guy, and she slices his neck, and the blood starts spurting. And when they come up from behind him, and you see the blood spurting from right around here. Yeah. It's like going up from here, not from his neck. Yeah. It's oh God, that's a terrible mistake. Yeah, it's full of that. Yeah, it's full of that crap.
People get shot in this movie, and it's like they don't even.
Yeah.
There's no effects of it.
Nicolas Cage
gets
nut blown off. His left nut blown off.
He gets over it in a couple
hours. He's fine.
Walks around.
Most of us would just be dead. We'd be done.
And the explosive devices, other than the nut.
Yeah.
It's like
they don't do much.
Yeah, it's like a little firecracker that goes off.
It breaks his arm a little bit. But he just puts the thing over it and he's good to go.
He's good to go. Yeah.
So
it doesn't blow off. Yeah. It makes no sense.
And the music in this movie was wild.
Yeah.
It's all over the place again.
There's a couple pieces that were decent with they mixed the Western and the Japanese.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good.
For the movie, I thought the music was pretty good. And I'm looking at this. It was on Amazon Prime is where I watched it. Prisoners of the Ghostland, which I thought was just Prisoners of Ghostland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing that it's classified under suspense and horror, neither of which is in this movie at all. No, this is more like Insane Town. That's what this should be called.
Yeah.
Because it's not scary, it's not suspenseful. At no time was I worried about anything in this movie. It's not like,
Except for when's the credits go.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Yeah. My wife came home at like 1:32 of the movie and I paused it and I was like, God, I just want to get this over with. There's 10 minutes. I ain't got time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's real bad. I mean, rating-wise, I'm going to murder it in rating. I really am. It's not going to be the worst of this year. We've definitely seen Champagne and Bullets.
Yeah. Nothing beats that one, yeah.
And The Room was this year as well. So, All right, so ratings, unless you got something else to say about it.
No.
I don't have anything else to say about this shit pile.
Yeah, I can't really, I don't want to say anything else about it. I want to forget that we watched it.
It's not worth talking about.
I mean, it's not even really that good of fun of a Cage movie.
It's not fun.
Normally you can pull some stuff out. There's a couple of things, but overall it's just like,
it's not even
get
fun.
This piece of trash over with.
What the shit, Cage?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a heavy worded letter to you, Mr. Cage. Dear Nicolas Cage,
Coppola,
you started Prisoners of the Ghostland, and I think you owe me $7 added to your debt.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to pay for this.
1 star.
Oh.
1 star. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm half. I'm half a star.
Wow, I got better than you.
Yeah.
I only give it 1 star because I don't feel like I can place it in the same realm as The Room and Champagne and Bullets.
It's their. This is just. It was one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen. I mean, nothing.
Okay, it was better shot than those two. I'm giving it half a point because the cinematography was at least competent.
Yeah.
And that's one thing.
That's why it's not a .1.
That's the one thing in this movie. Things go on forever. It's like they had a 70-minute movie that they needed to stretch to 160 minutes or whatever it was. No, it was an hour and 40 minutes, so 100 minutes. They had 70 minutes, so let's pull Nicolas Cage on a cart and make it last 8 minutes.
Oh, man.
At minimum, that scene was 8 minutes of him being pulled on a cart and looking around. Hardly any dialogue, and completely pointless.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all I got.
It was a drag.
It's terrible. Don't watch it.
Don't.
It's not worth seeing.
No. Yeah. Move on.
Fuck this movie. We'll see you next time on Basement Movie Room. Thanks for watching.